So today we'll be starting our vulnerability part. So today we'll be starting module 11, and the first thing that we are going to cover is insecure protocol. Okay, so tell me guys, what are insecure protocol? What are insecure protocol? Okay, explain why they are insecure. Anyone, open your mic and tell me why they are insecure protocol. Guys, open your mic. If you want to say, just tell what is insecure protocol. Explain why these ports are insecure, like HTTP, right? Telnet. Why they are insecure? Yeah, unencrypted data. Correct, correct. Because the data is transferred in plain text. Correct, guys, correct. No encryption. Okay, correct. So when we talk about, let me share my screen first of all. Let me know if my screen is visible. Okay, is my screen visible, everyone? Let me know. Okay, so correct. The definition is correct. It is not encrypting the data. Okay. So insecure protocol are basically HTTP is one of the insecure protocol. Okay. So if you will take example, HTTP is one of the example. Then FTP could be another example. Okay. Telnet is another example. Okay. SNMP is another example. So these are insecure protocol. Now in our Android application, we have some vulnerabilities related to insecure protocol. Okay, so the first vulnerability that we have is basically data transmission over insecure protocol. Okay, so the first vulnerability that we have, data transmission over insecure protocol. What this data transmission means, basically, whenever we are creating an account, okay, and when we are going to that application, we are basically making any request. So all the data that is going to the server, that is going over an insecure protocol. For example, if I'm logged into an application and I'm using my account, so all the data which is going from client to the server is going through an insecure protocol. For example, HTTP, right? So this is an example. So how we could find? So we will be using an application to find this data transmission over insecure protocol. Okay. Now the second vulnerability could be, okay. So the second vulnerability could be authentication. We will be discussing what is authentication and authorization. Don't worry. So first of all, we will be discussing this topic. So authentication over insecure protocols. Okay. So these are the two types of basically vulnerability in insecure protocol. The first vulnerability is data transmission over insecure protocol. Okay, and the second thing is authentication over insecure protocol. So let us start. So data transmission over insecure protocol, I have explained. Authentication over insecure protocol. Basically, when we are creating an account, when we are registering an account, or when we are logging into an account, right? Over any insecure protocol. That is this authentication over insecure protocol. For example, I'm going to Amazon app, I'm going to the login page, I'm entering my password and email, right? So once I'm entering my password and email and I'm logged in. So when I'm doing this process, what is happening? My authentication is going through insecure protocol. If the application is using HTTP, so all the email and password that I'm using is going through this HTTP traffic, right? And the attacker could perform man in the middle attack. So this is what authentication over insecure protocol is. This is just an example, okay? So this is an example that you could understand. So now let us see the practicals. Okay, so first of all, we have to see the authentication over insecure protocol. So for this, what we have to do, we have to open our Genymotion first of all, our Android Studio, sorry, our Android device. Okay, so let us use our Internship to mobile application. Then we will be using an Android application, which is the application Job Junction. I think, yeah, we will be using this application. Let us try with this application first. Okay. Guys, tomorrow will be the last session. Okay, so we will try to complete as much as we can today. So password is L. Am I clear, guys? Still here? Let me know if I'm clear or not for these two things. First of all, the first one is data transmission over insecure protocol. For example, we are sending any data to the server, and if that basically application is not using a secure protocol, then it will be visible to the attackers, right? They could perform man-in-the-middle attack. Similar to this, authentication over insecure protocol. If we are basically creating an account or we are logging in, and that is done through an insecure protocol, it is also a vulnerability. So these are low-level vulnerabilities, but yeah, you could report it. So how to find? So the first thing, authentication over insecure protocol. So the first thing that you need an application you want to test. So let us take a real application. So the application that I will be testing is a real application. Okay. So let us use this application. I will be giving the application. Don't worry. Okay. I will be giving this application after the class. So you don't have to worry. Now, what I have to do, let me first of all minimize this and let me create account. Okay, so I have to create a new account, sign up. Now let me enter a name, let me enter a random mobile number. Okay, let me give a random email. Okay, and now let me enter a random password. Now what I will be doing before clicking on this register button, what I could do, I could simply turn on my intercept and I could click on register. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to capture this request. Okay, so we have to check in above suit that we are getting this request. Now you will see this is the request that we are getting. These are the details that we entered, right? Now if you could see, we have to right click and we have to send this request to repeater. Okay, and in repeater, if you could see, let me send this request, and if you will see one thing here, target is using HTTP, right? And HTTP is insecure protocol, right, guys? So this is a vulnerability, and the vulnerability name is insecure authentication, right? So the vulnerability is basically authentication over insecure protocol, right? So why this is authentication over insecure? Basically, because this application is using HTTP port while creating an account. Am I clear? Yes, guys. Yes, Rahul. Write your question. What doubt you have? So this is a low level vulnerability. So when we are basically creating, let me give a recap. So what we have to do, you could find this in any application. So first thing you have to do, you have to go to the register page and you have to enter all the details. Okay. Before clicking on the register button, you have to turn on your proxy. After clicking on register button, you have to capture this request, right? So you have to turn on your intercept, then you have to click on register. Then you will be having a request like this. Now what you have to do, you have to right click and you have to send this to your repeater. And in repeater, you could see this is using HTTP protocol. Now this is a low, we could say a low level vulnerability, but yeah, this is a vulnerability because it is using insecure protocol, right? And authentication, this is authentication process, right? Which is happening through an insecure protocol. So, sir, Android HTTP can be used? No, I'm not telling that. I'm telling that this is a vulnerability. We could use HTTPS, and HTTPS is recommended. Okay, we have to use HTTPS. The developer is not using HTTPS. It is his fault, right? This is a vulnerability. You have to use HTTPS. That is the recommended remediation for this vulnerability. You have to use HTTPS. Then the data will be encrypted, right? Right now the data is not encrypted. So this is the difference. Okay, so this is how we could find this vulnerability, and the vulnerability name is authentication over insecure protocol. So this is the name, and this is the steps we have to use to find this vulnerability. Okay, so let me just write down the step. So you have to first of all create not this. So go to the application register page or login page. Okay, then enter your password, your credentials, the password or email. Okay, once you have done this, go to your burp suite, and in burp suite, turn on your intercept. Okay, turn on your intercept. And after this, what you have to do after turning your intercept, so this is the intercept, right? This is right now off. You have to turn this off on. Okay, so intercept. Then what you have to do, you have to go back to the application, go back to the application, and in the application, what you have to do, you simply have to click on register button, or you have to click on login button. Okay, then you will be having the request, and you have to check in Burpsuite. Okay, check in Burpsuite if the request is using HTTP or not. If it is using HTTP, then it is a vulnerability. Am I clear, guys? So first of all, go to the register page. Okay, you could go to the register page or the login page. Okay, then enter your password or email credentials. Then you have to go to your Burpsuite, go to intercept, then on your intercept on, go back to your application, click on register or login page. Okay, then you will be having the request, and you have to check if that request is having HTTP or not. Am I clear, guys? Now the second thing, data transmission over insecure protocol. So first thing we have seen, right? Now the second thing is, let me go back and let me click on login. Okay, and let me check the password. What was the password and the email that we have given? So let me just check the history. So this is the email that we have given, the email that we have used. Okay, so this was the email, and the password was PEST123. Okay, and let me click on login. And yeah, okay, so I have to use @ okay 40 @ okay. So let us create a new account, no problem. Test. Okay, now email. Okay, and the password test. Click on register. Okay, now we have successfully registered. Now in profile, what we have to see, we are making any changes, right? Let us make a change. So what I'm doing, I'm simply writing the father name, and I'm saving this. Okay, let me first save if this is saving or not. Okay, date of birth. Okay, now let me click on save. Okay, okay, Indian. Now save and proceed. Okay, now once we have, for example, what we are doing right now, we are editing our profile details, right? And the vulnerability that we are saying is basically data transmission over insecure protocol, right? Now what we are doing, we are sending some data to the server. Okay, so this is the data that we are sending. Okay, we are making some changes in our profile. Now this is the data, right? This is the request. What we have to do, we have to do the similar process. We have to turn on the intercept, then we have to click on save and proceed. Then we have to send this request to our repeater, or you could simply see here that it is using HTTP protocol, right? You could see here also, but yeah, the best way is to send to repeater and then check. You could see that it is using HTTP protocol, right, guys? So this is also a vulnerability that we could use. Okay, low level vulnerability, but yeah, it is a vulnerability. So let me paste this. Okay, sir, if this was secure, the data would not be in a Burpsuite. No, Sahil, you will be able to see the data in the Burpsuite. That is not the thing that we are discussing right now. Everything we will be able to see in Burpsuite, because I have told you that Burpsuite is a proxy intercepting tool. I have explained this, right? So whatever data is going through our Android device will first go through this Burpsuite, then it will go through our, we could say, server. So yeah, not every application will show this. Only 1% of application are so secure, so they will not. That, for example, if the application is there, which is a very, they are having a very heavy security. So in that case, you will be not able to see this. For example, if anyone has used Hackers Era app, okay, Hackers Era app, if anyone has used, so their application is very secure. Sir, if this was secure, the data would not be in a Burpsuite. Clear, okay. Clear, Sahil, let me know. No, Ritik. Burpsuite is a proxy intercepting tool. With the help of this, we are finding this vulnerability. Sir, will the encrypted data will be encrypted from a normal form? So in Bobsuit, all the data will be like this only, guys. Bobsuit is a tool which we are using to find vulnerabilities. You don't have to do anything with Bobsuit. Okay, we will be seeing this data. For example, if you are using in WhatsApp also, few times you will be able to see some data. So that is not the thing. What we are learning right now is about this insecure protocol. That data transfer is basically going through this insecure protocol, right? So no, Wireshark is a different tool. Okay, it is used for packet checking and that sort of things, right? That is a different tool. This is a different tool. Okay, so this was about this data transmission over insecure protocol. Okay, and we have seen authentication over insecure protocol. So these are two low level vulnerabilities. Okay, the vulnerability is related to insecure protocol. Okay, so if application is using insecure protocol, so that will lead to man in the middle attack. Okay, so this was about this insecure protocol vulnerability. Am I clear? Now the next topic is insecure logging security issues. So let us move to the next vulnerability. Okay, insecure logging security issues. Now, insecure logging security issues. Before going to insecure logging security issues, tell me what is a log? What is a log file? What is a log file? Guys, I want answers. What is a log file? Don't worry, guys. Try to give answers. Even if your answer is wrong, that is not a problem. Okay. Guys, there are 153 participants. I need answer from each and every one of you. History of activities. Whose activities? Tanveer, whose activities? The user? Correct. So, and in Windows, how we could see the logs? Anyone? Can anyone tell me how we could see logs in our window? If you want to see the log file, how we could see it? Correct. Event viewer. Correct. Correct. So if you want to see logs, we could see with the help of this event viewer, right? We have different types of logs. Okay. In Windows, we have different types of logs. You could see we are having application logs, then we are having security logs. Okay. We are having security logs, we are having setup logs, we are having system logs. So whatever thing we are doing, for example, if I'm opening a Microsoft Office, if I'm opening anything, everything is a log. Whatever I'm doing, everything is a log. So all the things that a user is performing, so right now I'm a user who is using this laptop. So whatever process I'm doing, for example, if I'm opening an app, closing an app, and uninstalling an application, if I'm getting any error, so everything is basically stored as a log. If anyone is gaining any unauthorized access, so that is getting stored in our log. So that is log, right, guys? So whatever action the user is performing, that is stored inside our log file, and there are different types of log files. Now, our Windows as well as Linux have log. Basically, they log. Okay, they log. They have this log files. Now, our Android system has also the capability to have log files. Okay, so let us see about Android. Okay, so we'll be focusing more into Android only. Okay, so as our Android system has the capability to store log whenever an event is triggered, right? What is an event, guys? Whenever a user or a individual is performing anything on a system, that is called an event, right? So our Android system has the capability to log whenever an event is triggered. Now it is a developer choice basically on what type of event does he want to log. Okay, so it is basically on the developer. When we are talking about log in our Android apps, basically it depends on the developers which type of event he want to log. Okay, so basically we have different five different types of logs. Okay, so we have five types of logs. Types of logs. in Android. Okay, so when we are talking about types of logs in Android, we are having five different types of logs. Okay, so the first type of log is log.e. I will be explaining, don't worry, guys. Okay, the second type of log is basically our log.i. And the third type of log that we are having is log.w. Okay, the fourth type of log that we are having is basically log.v. And the fifth type of log which we are having is basically log dot v. Now, guys, can anyone explain what this log e, log l, log w, log v, log d means? Anyone? Wrong answers are welcome. No problem, guys. Try to give answers. The reason I'm telling you guys to give any type of answer is basically it will help you. It will boost your confidence, guys. That is the main thing that we are trying to do right now. Don't worry even if you are giving wrong answers. That is fine. Okay, no problem, guys. Now let me explain. So we have five type of logs in our Android device. So the first one is log.e. Now this E stands for error. Okay, so this E stands for error. I will be showing the practical also, so don't worry right now. Okay, so this E stands for log.e. In this log.e, this E stands for error. Now this error is basically it will record all type of errors in the application. For example, if we are opening an application and if we are getting any error, so this log.e file or method will basically store that error. Okay, so we are having five type of logs. So the first log is log.e. This is the error log. Okay, so if we are opening an application and if we are getting any type of error, that will be stored in this log.e. Okay, and this are, we could say, types or methods. Okay, so this could be different types of logs, or we could say different methods. Okay, or methods of logs. So we could say method or types, it doesn't matter. Okay, the main motive is to understand what this type of logs are: log.e, log.l, log.w, log.v, and log.d. This is not l, this is I, sorry. Okay, now this log.e is basically, it will record all the log error log information message. Okay, so if I'm getting an error, it will store in this file. Clear, guys? Next topic, log.l. So it will record all the warnings, okay, in the application. So sorry, so this log is I, not l. Sorry for the mistyping. So this log.i is basically, it will record all the log informational message. So this I stands for informational. What this I stands for is basically informational. Okay, so this E is standing for error. This log.i is standing for informational. This W is standing for warning. And this V is standing for, any idea, guys? What this V stands for? VV, any idea? Verbose. Okay, this stands for verbose. And then this dot D stands for debug. Okay, now the first one is basically, if we are getting any type of error, this will be stored in this log.e file. If anything is, for example, if we are opening an application, that type of logs will be in this informational thing, because that is a normal thing. For example, if we are opening an application, closing an application, we are making any changes, if the thing is successful, okay, if the process that we are doing is successful, so that will come under this log.i file. Now, log.w, W stands for warning, and basically it will record all the warnings in the application. For example, if you ever tried installing any malicious application, for example, a malware, so you have seen, it will tell you that warning, this app contains some malicious information, or you could say virus, right? So you have seen, yes or no, guys? Let me know. I need answers fast. Yeah, so that type of warning will be stored in this log.w file. Okay, now the next thing is basically log.v. V stand for verbose, and it will record all the verbose messages in the application. Okay, so this will basically store all the verbose messages of that application. And the last one is basically debug. So this debug will basically record all the debug related messages. Okay, so this were 5 type of logs that we have seen: log E, log I, log W, log V, log B. Okay, now let us see vulnerability related to this logs. Okay, so in Android application we have vulnerabilities in secure logging security issues. Okay, so let us see. Just give me 2 minutes. You could do a quick revision, and if you have any doubts, you could let me know. Any doubt, guys? Anyone? Okay, so let us move. So this was about basically types or methods of logs in Android, right? Now let us see how we could find this insecure logging vulnerabilities. So we are having two tools, okay, to find this type of vulnerabilities. Okay, okay. So the first tool is basically that we'll be using to find this type of vulnerability is Logcat. You could either use Logcat or you could use Pitcat. Any one tool will work. Okay, you could use any one tool. Okay, and in our app we are already having these two tools. Okay, so if you will go to your app you are having this tool in your app pre-installed. Okay, so we are already having this tool in our app, so you don't have to worry, right? We are already having these tools in our app. So we are having our Logcat as well as Pitcat in our app, so you don't have to install it. Okay, if you want, you can install from Google also, but yeah, we'll be using app. So let us see how we could find. So you could use either Logcat or Pitcat. So I will be using Pitcat. Okay, so we'll be using Pitcat right now. You could use Logcat also. I will be showing the command also. Don't worry for Logcat, but we will be using Pitcat. So now what we have to do, first of all, to find this log, we need a vulnerable application. What will happen, for example, if we are going to an application and if we are entering our credit card details, by mistake, that application is basically saving that credit card as an error. For example, when we are going to an application and we are entering our credit card details, what happen if we are getting any type of error? For example, when we are making payments, we get a lot of errors, right? So during that error, if we get during that process, if we get an error, so what will happen? That error will store in this log.e file, right? I have told you guys. So if that log error, the error that we got will have a credit card number, so that is a vulnerability, right? So let us see how we could find this. So first of all, what we need a vulnerable application. Okay, so let us see the application that we could use for testing this app. So testing this vulnerability, so the application could be CV. Let us take CV only. CV. Okay. Then let me install Diva also. Don't worry, I will be giving you the applications, so you don't have to worry. Now, guys, this is the application that we will be using for testing. And you could see Diva is the application we are using, and we have to click on this insecure logging, the first one, right? So this is a vulnerable application in which we could test a lot of vulnerabilities. I will be showing you a real POC also, a vulnerability that I have found. So now, for example, you are using an application, a real application, you are using an application where you have to enter your credit card detail. Okay. So you are using an application where you have to enter your credit card details. For example, right now I'm entering my credit card number. So this is the number. Now, during this process, if I get an error, what will happen? I have told you, if we will get error, what will happen? This error will be stored in this log.e folder or method, right? So this error will be stored in this log.e. For example, when we are entering this credit card number, what will happen? We will get an error. For example, due to any reason, we could get an error. So if we are getting an error, that will be saved in this log.e. If we are getting a warning, that will be stored in log.w. So let us see what we'll be doing. First of all, we'll be just typing our pitcat. Okay, we'll be just typing pitcat, And what we could do, we could start. Okay, we could press enter. Now what we have to see, we have to simply, we have to click on checkout, and we have to check if we are getting any error. So let me click on checkout, and guys, if you could see, I'm getting an error. You could see it is giving me a prompt that an error occurred. Now I have told you, if you will give if you will get an error, what will happen, that error will be stored as a log, right? I have told you that error will be stored as a log. And in this process, what is happening, the error is containing a credit card detail. Now this could be anything, this could be your email, your personal information, or any information could be here, right? So this is what insecure logging is basically. Now if you could see, let me click on checkout, and if you could see, this is the credit card number. Guys, can you see this? Yes or no? Is this visible, guys? So this is log E. You could see, right? This is log E. E stands for error, because we got this error. You could see we are getting this error. If we got warning, for example, if we click on checkout, if we got warning, so we will, if this is warning, then we could see W and then the credit card number. But right now, what we are getting error, and then we are getting the credit card number. So this is what insecure vulnerability is. Okay, and this is a medium level of vulnerability. Depends what type of information you have got. Okay, so let me just, so this is the example. Now I will be showing you a POC, a real POC, okay, of an application that I have tested. Now this was about Pitcat. So what you have to do for this, for finding this vulnerability, just go to your appy and just type Pitcat. Just type Pitcat and press enter. Now you will be having all the logs of your Android device. Now open the application. For example, I'm opening the application. You could see, guys, even if I'm closing an application or opening an application, we are getting logs, right? We are getting logs. Log is created. I have told you. So information log is created. If we are clicking on insecure logging, then what we have to do, we have to type a credit card number. And if we will click on checkout, we will get an error. And in that error, basically, we will get the credit card number. So this is just an example. Now let me show you a POC for this, guys. Let me just show you a POC. Just a minute. Wait a minute, guys. Okay. So Sahil, the type of logs or method that I have explained you, right? So this is basically different log method. And if we are getting an error, that error will be stored in this log.e file, correct? If I'm getting an informational message, that is stored in this log.i. Okay, so whatever we are getting, for example, if we are getting informational thing, it will stored in this log.i. If we are getting a warning, then it will be stored in this warning file, okay, or method. So that is the thing. Am I clear, Sahil? And with the help of Pitcat, we could simply see the log file at the runtime. So we are seeing the log of our Android device at the runtime. So these are the logs of this application at runtime. This is real. This is not a dummy. This is real. For example, if I'm clicking on this, you could see there is a log created. If I'm opening an application, you could see we are getting a lot of logs, right? So I have told you, whichever whatever a user is doing in our device, all the things are logs. Okay, and in Android we have different type of logs. Am I clear, Sahil? Now let me show you the POC of this insecure logging. This is the way to see this. This is the easiest method. You just have to type pitcat and we are able to see the logs. The best way to see any logs. Just let me show you the POC, guys. Okay, so you could see my screen. Is this screen visible, guys? Okay, now you could see this is insecure logging. Okay, and it is basically leaking session token. Okay, now anything could be there, guys. It could be session token, it could be authentication token, it could be credit card information, any type of information. And the severity basically depends on what information you have got. So you could see I have got session token which is very high. Okay, so you could see I have written down the steps how to secure it. Okay, and what is the description and what is the impact. So you could read the impact. If an attacker or a malicious insider gain access to the logs, those logs contain sensitive information, right? And that could be a problem. Basically, if anyone get hands to this log file, they could see anything. They could see session ID, they could see attacker, they could hijack that account, right? So this is the POC. If you could, I will open this. Sorry, Satya, but I could not share this because this is a project. I could not share this with you. So if you could see, I'm having this session token. In the log, I'm getting the session token. And the log is I. You could see it is informational log. You could see this is informational log. Okay, and I'm getting the session token. I could basically hijack anyone's account. So this is how you could find this. Okay, sir, this bug you found on the application bug bounty. No, Sahil, basically this was a project I was doing for a client. So I'm also a freelancer, so I was doing a project for a client in which I found this. Okay, I could not tell you the name. Ajay, it was a project, not a bounty. It was a project. So I got, I tested his application, his APIs, and his web application. So it was a package. Okay. So it depends. You could charge according to you, whatever amount you want. And if your client agrees, you could take that amount. Okay. So yeah. Now this is how we could find this insecure logging. Okay. Sir, I'm starting HackerOne company, but it is already someone reported. Guys, Satya, I have told you use responsible disclosure pages. Okay, go to Chrome and type responsible disclosure. I've also shared a GitHub list where you have different Google Docs from where you could find a lot of responsible disclosure programs. Okay, do not go on HackerOne and Bugcrowd. They are having a lot of individuals who are skilled. So as a beginner, I will suggest you to go to your this responsible disclosure programs. One of my student who just started learning previous month, he got 5 Hall of Fames till now and 18 bounties. So yeah, if he will start, he's doing in responsible disclosure pages. Okay, he's not doing on Bugcrowd or HackerOne. So it depends where you are hunting. Okay. Now, this was about this insecure logging. Okay, guys. Now, what we could do basically, this was about the insecure logging. Let me write down the steps. Okay, so I have written down the steps. So, this was the PitCat tool. For Logcat, what we could do if we want to use Logcat, for example, you don't want to use PitCat. Okay, so for Logcat, what you have to do, you have to type this command adb cell, then you have to type Logcat, then you have to type grep. Okay, and then you have to give the package name. So after that, what will happen? You will only get the, you could say error. Sorry, you will only get the log of that specific application whose package name you have given. So adb cell logcat grep package name. So you will be not getting log of your Android device. You will be only getting log of that specific application. Same you could do for this pitcat. You could simply type pitcat, okay, and you could type the package name. So what will happen? You will only get, you could say you will only get the log for this specific application. Okay, guys. So just give me 1 minute. Okay. Okay, so this was about this insecure logging vulnerability. Okay, so now let us see the next vulnerability, which is insecure sensitive hard coding issues. Okay, so this will be the last vulnerability for today, and tomorrow we'll be taking a class of 2 hours, I think. Okay, 2 or 2.5 hours. Okay, so we'll be taking class from 7 to 9 or 6 to 8. Okay, I will send a poll in the group. So tomorrow we'll be starting from cryptography storage and we'll be completing till module 14. So tomorrow we'll be taking a class around like we'll be starting from 6 to 8. Okay. So let us start this insecure sensitive hard coding issues. So so guys, can you tell me what sensitive information is, or what are information? What is information? Anyone? What is information? Before telling me what is sensitive information, tell me what is information. No, no, data, no, data is raw. Oh, sorry, data is not organized. Okay, that is not information. Tell me what is information. Correct. Structured data is known as information. Correct, guys. Correct. Yeah. So, how we could find insecure, sensitive, hard coded issues in our Android apps? Basically, it is also known as hard coding, embedding data. Okay, or we could say to see information in source code of the application. Okay, so right now we are seeing in the source code. So basically we will be finding hard coded information, or we could say sensitive information in the source code of that application. I have explained, basically I have told you how to find this. Okay, we could simply find this in our resources folder, then we have to go to the values folder, then we have to go to the strings dot xml file. Okay, and here we could see, we could find API keys, we could find any type of things, right? So this is the path. So we have two ways to find this hard-coded information disclosure. So for the first thing is basically this specific path, which we could get with the help of APK tool. If you remember, okay, we have to go to this APK tool. Then for first of all, we have to use appy to get to the APK tool. Then we have to decompile the application, and then we have to go to this resources folder. Okay, then we have to go to the values, and then we have to go to the string file, XML file, and we have to find for API keys any type of information which is sensitive. Okay, so this is how we could find this hard-coded information. Okay, the second thing that we could do is, let me first of all copy this and paste it here. Okay, the second thing that we could do is basically finding information in our source code, Java classes. Okay, with the help of Dex2Jar, that the tool that I've told you in the previous session, Dex2Jar. Okay, so you could use Dex2Jar and you could find any type of information in this classes. Okay, you could find any type of information in this classes. You could go through the source code with the help of Dex2Jar. Okay, Dex2Jar, and you could go through with this. We could say JDGUI. Okay, JDGUI. So you could first of all get the source code with the help of this Dex2Jar, and you could see with the help of this JDGUI. Okay, so we have two options to find this sensitive information. Okay, guys, so clear. This is all for today. Tomorrow we'll be starting from this cryptography storage issues, and we will be completing this topic. Okay, we'll be completing all the syllabus. Even if it will take around 2 to 3 hours or 4 hours. It doesn't matter. Okay, guys, we will try to complete. It will maximum take 3 hours, minimum 2 hours. Okay, so this is all for today. Am I clear, everyone? Okay, so Sahil, if you're going into blue teaming, the salary could be anywhere between your LP could be 4, okay, 4 LP to 5 LPA. If you're going into blue teaming, if you're going into like as a pen tester or junior pen tester, then your salary could be around 8 to 9 lakh or 10 lakh. Basically depends in which company you are going. Okay. Okay, so that's all for today, guys. Okay, so we will be connecting tomorrow, and tomorrow will be the last class. I will be sending a poll. Okay, so answer that poll. So that will decide the timing for tomorrow's class.